Tonight while you sleep, tornado-capable supercells could be spinning up across the Central Plains. Sunday evening between 5 p.m. and midnight is the window your family needs to have a plan for. The Storm Prediction Center is tracking what could become the most significant outbreak of May 2026. 8.2 million people sat inside the Texas Enhanced Risk Zone just 3 days ago. And the setup building for this weekend looks stronger, not weaker than what Texas just experienced. Baseball-sized hail, 75-mile-per-hour winds, and significant tornadoes, all three simultaneously on the table. Stay with me halfway through. I reveal the Sunday detail that just shifted on the models. It is something that shifts Sunday from a bad storm day into a potential outbreak-level event entirely. Honest truth, I have been watching these model runs for 3 days and Sunday keeps getting worse. Every run of the European model has trended toward a deeper, more dangerous low for Sunday evening. When a model trends consistently in one direction for 72 hours, you take that signal very seriously. But first, today itself is already a three-ring circus of severe weather across the entire country. Right now, the Intermountain West is the most active severe weather zone in America this afternoon. Salt Lake City, Provo, West Valley City, and Billings, Montana, you're all inside today's risk zone. SPC has posted a slight risk covering roughly 100,000 square miles across Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. The main threat today is not tornadoes damaging winds up to 85 miles per hour are the primary concern. That is hurricane-force wind territory, folks, and SPC is calling it out explicitly in today's outlook. A 15% wind probability within 25 miles of any location affects more than 3.5 million people today. Billings, you're in today's wind risk core. Secure all loose outdoor items right now. Eastern Washington State could also see damaging wind gusts from these storms later this afternoon, too. The wind shear in today's Intermountain West setup could produce downburst winds near open terrain. Bozeman and Great Falls in Montana are also watching this afternoon's storm development very closely. Eastern Washington State could see storms with gusty, damaging winds later this afternoon as well. Simultaneously, a separate hail risk is active right now, centered over the Texas Panhandle today. Amarillo, Pampa, Dumas, Borger, and Canyon. Your area carries an active hail probability this afternoon. High plains supercells build fast and produce large hail with very little warning heads up out there. And a third separate risk zone runs along the Appalachian corridor from Pennsylvania down to Virginia. Pittsburgh, watch for thunderstorms developing around 3 p.m. today, with the risk lasting into early evening. Rochester and Syracuse in New York could see strong thunderstorm activity moving through this afternoon. West Virginia and Western Maryland, your evening storm window runs roughly from 5 to 9 p.m. tonight. 3 geographically separate severe weather risks active simultaneously today coast to coast, folks. But here's what ties all three together. They share the same upper-level trough driving everything. That trough is today's wind machine in Montana and this weekend's tornado machine across the plains. Drop your city and state in the comments. I will be back tonight with your specific updates. To understand what is building this weekend, you need to know what just happened 3 days ago. On Mother's Day Sunday, an enhanced risk zone covered 53,611 square miles across central and north Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, and Garland sat dead center of that outbreak with no natural barriers. Hail exceeding 2 inches slammed North Texas wind gusts surpassed 75 miles per hour across the Dallas metro. Over 27 million people sat inside the combined risk zone. That Sunday this weekend could be bigger. Shreveport, Little Rock, and Jackson, Mississippi all fell inside Sunday's broader Texas risk zone. That Mother's Day outbreak is a reminder that the Central Plains corridor has no natural storm barriers. Every storm that rolls through DFW hits a metro of 7 million people with nowhere to hide outdoors. Let us go day by day because every single day between now and Monday carries something real. Thursday brings a slight risk level 2 already posted across Kansas by SPC today. Wichita, Manhattan, and Topeka are sitting inside that yellow zone for Thursday afternoon's threats. The big Thursday concern is discrete supercells firing up and producing hail exceeding 2 inches in diameter. Tornado threat Thursday stays sub 2%, but damaging winds are also in play across Kansas. Dale Simmons out in Abilene, Kansas has already moved his truck into the garage ahead of Thursday. Friday is essentially a near repeat of Thursday, but the risk shifts slightly east toward Kansas City. A slight risk is centered over the Kansas City metro, Columbia, Topeka, Emporia, and St. Joseph included. St. Louis, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Springfield, Illinois fall into a marginal zone for Friday as well. Large hail and damaging winds drive the Friday risk. A few baseball-sized hail producers are possible. Friday morning also brings an overnight complex of thunderstorms across Missouri, Illinois, and Iowa. St. Louis, Peoria, and Columbia could wake up Friday morning to ongoing rainfall and rumbling thunder. That overnight Friday moisture is not random, it is preconditioning the atmosphere for the main event. Every inch of rain Friday night deepens the instability that Sunday's supercells will feed directly from. 1 to 2 inches of rain from that Friday complex could fall across central Illinois before dawn. Iowa and Minnesota may also see overnight storm activity Friday ahead of the main weekend events. All of that overnight moisture preloads the boundary layer, giving Sunday's storms more to work with. Betty out in Wichita Falls says the southwest wind has been howling since before dawn Wednesday morning. Now, I need to stop right here. This is the moment I promised at the very top. Here's what the models just picked up that was not in any forecast 48 hours ago. An overnight MCS, a massive organized storm complex, could fire Friday night across the Central Plains. That MCS would pre-moisten the entire boundary layer ahead of Sunday, and that changes everything. Pre-moistened soil and air means Sunday's supercells have even more fuel to tap into from the ground up. Moving into Saturday, a slight risk covers a broad area of the central and southern plains. A 15% probability of severe weather within 25 miles of any location covers millions Saturday. The Euro model shows a complex of storms across Ohio and Indiana by Saturday early afternoon already. Columbus, Indianapolis, and Louisville. Saturday afternoon looks like an active storm day for you. Higher severe weather potential Saturday stays focused on the Great Plains west of the Mississippi. Saturday is the opening act serious enough to respect, but Sunday is when the main stage opens. Sunday is the day the entire weather community has been quietly talking about for 72 straight hours. SPC's slight risk on Sunday stretches from just south of Minneapolis all the way to northwestern Oklahoma. That is a geographic footprint running from Minnesota down through the heart of American tornado country. The reason Sunday dwarfs Saturday comes down to a single feature of fully developed digging trough. This trough begins digging Saturday and reaches its deepest, most powerful configuration Sunday afternoon. At full depth, that trough kicks southwesterly flow, screaming across the entire Central Plains corridor. Southwesterly flow across the plains in May is the single most classic signature of a tornado outbreak. Now layer dew points surging into the upper 60s and potentially low 70s by Sunday afternoon. Low 70s dew points in mid-May, that is an enormous fuel supply sitting directly under this storm system. Cape levels spike to 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram across the plains by Sunday afternoon. Strong upper-level flow overlapping that moisture creates the recipe for significant long-track tornadoes. All hazards fully on the table Sunday. Organized tornadoes near 75-mile-per-hour winds and very large hail. Carol Myers, retired nurse in Omaha, has moved her car to the garage and packed her shelter bag. She lived through a 2011 outbreak and is not underestimating this Sunday setup one single bit. The wind shear values expected Sunday fall in the range that specifically supports tornado formation. Vertical wind shear is what gives a rotating updraft the structure to become a long-track tornado. When you have this much shear overlapping this much moisture, isolated supercells become the norm. What makes Sunday uniquely dangerous is the dry line, the boundary dividing moist and dry air masses. Storms firing along that dry line Sunday afternoon could rapidly become organized, long-tracked supercells. A supercell along a dry line in these conditions can produce all three hazards within a single storm. Some areas along the dry line stay completely dry. Areas just miles away get pounded by those supercells. Oklahoma, eastern half of the state, falls directly inside Sunday's slight risk zone for evening storms. Kansas, Topeka, Emporia, and Pittsburgh are all inside Sunday's primary risk corridor right now. Northern Missouri, eastern Nebraska, and nearly the entire state of Iowa are inside Sunday's risk zone. Almost the entire state of Illinois is inside this risk area. Chicago and Rockford take note. Wisconsin and a large section of Minnesota also fall inside Sunday's risk zone. Heads up there. Even the upper peninsula of Michigan is not clear. Sunday's risk zone reaches that far north. Frank Hollister out in Amarillo says the sky Thursday morning looked flat out different than normal. When longtime plains ranchers say the sky looks wrong, you do not argue with 25 years experience. That uneven dryline distribution is exactly why you must watch your local forecast through the weekend. A 100-mile shift in the dryline position changes who gets tornadoes and who stays completely dry Sunday. Sandra Phelps in Lexington, South Carolina is watching this weekend's track and says it feels relentless. She says whenever dew points build this fast in May, she does not wait to prepare, period. Drop your city below. I will track your area personally and have Sunday timing updates tonight. And then there is Monday. I need you to hear this. Monday could outpace Sunday entirely. The severe weather risk Monday covers an area from upper Michigan all the way down to northern Texas. Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, northern Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, all in Monday's risk footprint right now. SPC already has Monday at slight risk level 2. This far out in advance is very notable. Forecasters are not ruling out a bimodal threat Monday, 2 separate elevated risk zones with a gap. The trough positions further east Monday, expanding the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley into the risk zone. Bob Simmons, retired electrician in Indianapolis, says his weather radio is already set to full volume. The risk likely continues into Tuesday as that trough keeps rolling eastward through the Ohio Valley. Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the Mid-Atlantic all face elevated storm chances early next week. Flash flooding will become a serious concern for Arkansas, western Tennessee, and Kentucky next week. 2 to 3 inches of rain in 6 hours overwhelms drainage in urban and rural areas without warning. Turn around, don't drown. This applies to flooded roads even after the tornado threat has fully passed. Looking beyond Monday, more storm systems will keep ejecting off the Rockies through the rest of May. Between May 18th and the 24th, serious rainfall totals are projected across the entire central U.S. corridor. Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Illinois are all targeted for above normal rainfall. Louisiana has been locked in severe drought. Now it gets hit hard twice in the same week. Flash flooding becomes a serious concern for Arkansas, western Tennessee, and Kentucky mid-next week. The Climate Prediction Center flags a 50% chance of above normal precipitation in the target zone. Sandra Phelps in Lexington, South Carolina, is watching this entire pattern and says it feels relentless. The Climate Prediction Center also flags above normal temperatures across the central U.S. this week. Heat and severe storms together are a dangerous combination that exhausts people and strains resources. Now here is the straight talk on what you actually need to do before Saturday morning arrives. Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Iowa, your preparation window is right now, not Friday night, folks. Know your shelter location before Saturday: basement, interior room, or a community shelter nearby. Mobile home residents from Texas through Iowa, you need an alternative shelter plan before Sunday. Mobile homes are never safe during tornado warnings. Sunday's setup can produce significant tornadoes. Your weather alert must wake you up from across the house loud enough to hear at midnight. Saturday and Sunday nights both carry nocturnal storm potential warnings. Could fire while you sleep. Nighttime tornadoes kill more people than daytime ones. You cannot see a wall cloud at midnight. For Utah, Idaho, and Montana today, get loose outdoor items secured before this afternoon's storms. Anyone driving Interstate 35 through Oklahoma and Kansas this weekend, plan around the storm windows. Interstate 70 through Missouri and Kansas also falls directly inside the weekend severe weather corridor. Sunday afternoon between 3 and 9 p.m. is the single highest risk driving window across those corridors. Here is the single story that connects everything this week into one clear picture for you. The same trough driving today's 85-mile-per-hour gusts in Montana is what fuels Sunday's outbreak potential. As it digs deeper each day through Friday, it transforms from a wind driver into a tornado machine. Mark my words, if Sunday and Monday verify, this becomes the defining storm week of May. The real good news, you have days to prepare right now, and preparation genuinely saves lives. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your city and state in the comments right below. Kansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Nebraska. Are you already sensing any atmospheric changes out there today? Utah, Idaho, Montana. How bad are the winds outside your window right now this afternoon? Ohio Valley folks, Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. What does Wednesday look like from your window? Great Lakes and Upper Midwest, are you noticing anything unusual about today's wind or sky conditions? What city do you want a complete 5-day risk breakdown for? Drop it in comments below. Are you traveling through Kansas or Oklahoma this weekend? Your safety planning depends on knowing this. Do yourself a solid, share this with someone in Kansas, Iowa, or Oklahoma before Saturday arrives. A heads up from someone they trust beats 10 push notifications they are going to swipe right away. We are tracking the 85-mile-per-hour gusts today, Thursday's supercells, and Sunday's full outbreak window daily. Stay safe out there, look after your neighbors, and we will see you in the very next update